Hi, this is Bill Fishbein from the Coffee Trust, a nonprofit that works with coffee farmers in San Gaspar Chahul in Guatemala. I am here today with Michael Baccellieri, my old friend, we have traveled together so many times south of the border, and now we're north of the border, not in the same state, but we're having a little interview together today for National Coffee Day. Michael, as the owner of Longbottom Coffee Tea, welcome to the Coffee Trust and National Coffee Day.
Hey, thank you, Bill. Glad to be here.
Well, always a pleasure. Really love your stash. And and let me ask you a couple of things, just because you are one of the most interesting people I have ever met. And I've met a few, but you definitely are top of the charts. What did you do today?
What did I do today?
Yeah, how did you start your day?
I started my day jumping in the shower, getting all cleaned up, and coming over here.
Oh, okay. I guess it was the accident you had last week that slowed you down because. Yeah.
Well, I make my own moonshine brandy, and this last week the peach mash was ready to run, and so I did the peach, and I had a late day, and I only have like an 18 to 20 gallon still, so I have to run it in like 3 different segments, and each still load takes approximately 3.5 hours. So I was working on the last load, and it was late. I probably was putting in about a 17-hour day, and I started to doze off, and the still blew up. And I wasn't keeping an eye on the pressure, and it all that hot peach mash alcohol blew up, and praise God, it didn't hit my face or my neck, but it got my right arm from my wrist all the way up into my upper back, and then part of my lower back, and I've got second borderline 3rd degree burns. And so I got up this morning and took a cool shower, washed my wounds gingerly, put this special silver cream on, and wrapped it, and here I am talking to you, Bill.
Well, you're an amazing guy, because some people would do that for a living. but you do it as a side chore, and then what you failed to mention was that you repaired the still even with the wounds. I mean,
I had 2 more days of running to do. See, I had more. That was my friend Henry. He's my buddy from up in the Appalachian Mountains. His brother's the one that made the still for me. Mm-hmm. He runs 8 stills up in the hills there, so Henry had mash that we had to run, so we had to repair the still and run his mash.
Wow. That's amazing. For all of you listeners, I encourage you to watch this entire interview, because this is just the beginning. Well, we're speaking to a gentleman here who is one of the most amazing people on this planet. And this is a sideline, because what is a coffee roaster doing making, peach mash? Or peach moonshine? It's like, Michael, when did you start in the coffee business?
Well, the company started out as a kind of a trading company with tobacco, coffee, teas, and spices in '81. And I took over the business in '84. And it had a little teeny roaster. It had 4 half bags of coffee, green coffee, as the inventory, and then I basically went to work is what I did, and we've got hundreds upon hundreds of wholesale customers throughout the United States, and we've just been blessed. We've got a beautiful restaurant. We just put an addition on it. This just finished it up here about 4 or 5 months ago. Now we seat over 110 people. That's connected, that views the coffee being roasted along with the inventory. We've got, an incredible number of wonderful employees that make up a team that the average has been with me about 28, 29 years. It is just, it's an incredible business. And the real gift is be able to make a profit and believe it or not, give about 90% of that profit away. And we give it to the employees, to people like you. Right now, Mercy Corps over there in the Bahamas. We give it to them. We give scholarships away to kids with learning differences at the Thomas Edison School because they're so severely dyslexic, something that I am. That's why I'm not normal, Bill. But I couldn't read See Spot Run in the 5th grade, and they were wondering if I was crazy. And the truth is I was. But my brain, I just think differently than most, and I'm willing to try anything twice. But,
well, there you go. So now we have a coffee. It's National Coffee Day, and we're here with Michael Baccellieri of Longbottom Coffee and Tea. And so we're here with a coffee roaster on National Coffee Day, who we already know makes peach moonshine, and he owns a restaurant too. He's a restaurateur on top of it. Okay, and he's a philanthropist of the highest order, because if I know Michael, I know that he has been a philanthropist even when he was broke. I bet Michael was giving money away. So that's my guess, and I bet he could fill me in on that one too. But there's a few other things. Every one of you who are buying Longbottom coffee and whatever experience you may have at Longbottom, you really have to know who's behind the company, because Michael has a couple of other hobbies too. I know it seems a little strange, but have you ever been in like the boating business or anything? I mean, do you ever?
My dad and mom. My dad immigrated here from southern Italy in 1934, and he was on the coast there, on the east side of Italy by the boot there, by the heel, and.
Yeah.
He grew up on the ocean, on the sea there, and so we grew up. He had a double ender, 22-foot ocean-going dory that he had down at the coast, and he delivered wholesale fruits and vegetables with a big 40-foot semi, and we would make this place, the Spouting Horn Inn, our last stop. And so 4 days a week we were out in the ocean catching fish, and so I grew up out there. I ended up getting my master's license. I've delivered big yachts from Mexico to Southeast Alaska for movie producers and high tech, Microsoft president, business owners. I mean, all kinds of different folks. And then I've been building boats for 30 years, and I've got a shop down in the Lower Columbia where I build beautiful wooden boats, and it doesn't matter if it's 8 feet long or 25 feet long. I build beautiful sailboats and motorboats and rowboats and rowing shells, and I restored boats that were 60 feet long. And so I've been doing that for years, but it's hard for me to sit still. Let's put it that way.
Indeed. In fact, is that where the name Longbottom came from?
No, the name Longbottom is from the Tolkien. I changed it because I changed the logo to the Longbottom Clipper. But the name came from the Tolkien series of the Longbottom leaf tobacco. And so the guy that started it, he put an ad in the Sunset magazine and sold coffee, tobaccos, teas, and spices. And he wasn't doing all that well, let me tell you. When I took over the business, it did like $50,000 gross a year. I mean, it's not, whatever. But so the Longbottom name is from the Longbottom leaf tobacco. And the clipper and the ship is kind of most partly about myself and the ocean and the trading that takes place in the early years up to today. It's all shipped over the sea. I mean, if you order a container load of coffee, it's put on a big container ship and it's over the ocean waves to one of our West Coast ports here. If it's the fine stuff. If you want not so fine stuff, then you buy the stuff that goes into New Orleans or New York.
There you go. Okay, so I'm getting somewhere. I'm pointing myself in a direction with these questions of mine, because there's yet another. I know it seems a little nuts, folks, but Michael has another hobby, and it's a very sweet hobby, if I remember correctly. It'll tell us about that, Michael?
Oh, sure. About 5 years ago, my oldest granddaughter, she's got serious allergies, and I ended up with back surgery. I just developed a piece of property and built a campground marina with a vacation rental property on it. A home on it, and I ended up screwing up my back for the 10th time. And so I had surgery. This was in early 2015. And when I was recovering, I got on the internet to find out home remedies, natural remedies for curing allergies. And they said that honey, local honey, would be the ticket for this. So I ended up calling up my buddy that has the sawmill that I get all my boat lumber, and gave him an order of lumber so I can build a bunch of beehives. And then I enrolled in a class from Washington State University on beekeeping, and got certified as a beekeeper. I built 18 hives, complete with honey supers and the whole shoot match. And I started keeping bees, and most of my friends, they're a little odd, but they're fun. But a lot of them are loggers. They work out in the woods, and there are a lot of bees in the woods. And so they'll let me know if there's a swarm, or if they're going to cut down a tree with bees in it, and I will take those bees and give them a new home. So now we have about 20 hives, and little Lillian and I, and now Abigail, we work the bees together, and we produce anywhere from a low of 50 to a high of 100 gallons of honey per year, and we market it in our restaurant. And what I do is I give the profits to the kids through a Roth IRA, because it's pre-taxed, And so when you pull it out when you're retired, you don't have to pay taxes. Well, when you're just a child, the government doesn't take you to the cleaners when it comes to the taxes. So we're trying to build. They don't understand it, and they personally don't care, but I do. And so I'm trying to make a small fortune for my kids through honey money. So
through honey money. Okay. I have one more question before I actually get to the reason for all my questions, which is, have you ever been out of the country?
Have I ever been out of the country? I've been everywhere, man. You know that song?
Well, okay, now.
Middle East, Asia, you name it, Burma.
Okay. Well, have you ever met coffee producers?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And when you travel, and when you travel to visit a coffee producer, do you go strictly just to visit and observe, or
No.
No,
You know,
no.
you know what's wonderful about these folks? Uh, you know, uh, these people in these developing countries are the most kind, wonderful, humble, gorgeous folks you could ever meet. Uh, they would give you anything they would have. Bill and I and Paula, his girl Friday gal there, we sit in their homes and eat their food, and we laugh and we problem solve, and it is it is so wonderful to be a part of their lives. And coffee is just one thing. Uh, they've got living issues to deal with. They've got water issues to deal with. Um, uh, Whatever it is, and you have if you have the know-how to help, uh, you know, you want to share that know-how. And the sweet part about it is they know a bunch of stuff, and they end up teaching me as well. So it's a wonderful experience. If you ever get a chance uh, to go with Bill and the Coffee Trust uh, south of the border, you've got to do it. I mean, sometimes the sleeping conditions are a little dicey, but the reality of it is, it is an experience of a lifetime. People are it. The people are the reason why Bill and Paula. Coffee makes us money, but without the people, there is no coffee, and everything is done by hand. It's on these steep hillsides. These people are working their asses off, and loving every minute of it. And so it is. The other thing is they also, in that same group, there's a co-op that keeps bees, and so that's another story that is wonderful to be involved in. But it's all about the people, really, and all about the children.
Yeah. Well, for all of those of you who are listening, we're here for National Coffee Day, and it's about coffee, but coffee is like the thread or the medium, and when you're on one side of the counter and you're tasting the coffee, and you might attribute the amazing taste of the coffee to the coffee itself and the way it was roasted. But just as Michael said, there are a lot of people involved in all of that process, and everything that you're tasting is actually in one way or another affected by all the people who are involved in that cup. And for those of you who are fortunate enough to buy Longbottom coffee, that what you're tasting is not only the coffee, not only from the region, not only from the many hundreds upon hundreds of hands who have touched that coffee all the way until it gets to Longbottom and to you, but knowing that the man behind Longbottom is one of the most unique characters on the planet, who's an extraordinary human being, a beekeeper, a boat builder, a moonshine maker, a home builder, a coffee roaster, a restaurant owner. I mean, this all goes in your cup. So on this National Coffee Day, if you go out there and you buy yourself, some Longbottom coffee and tea, you will taste all of that. And so I hope you've stuck around for this interview, because Michael is such an extraordinary guy. And if you're in Portland or in any one under the country, look, he started with maybe 50 pounds of coffee or 100 pounds of coffee, and now he's all over the country. And he's got an amazing business. He's an amazing man. I'm proud to call him my friend. And thank you, Michael. It has, like always, been a pleasure to speak with you.
You too, Bill.
All right. Well, for those of you who are still listening, If you care to join Michael in the support of the Coffee Trust, just go to www.thecoffeetrust.org and feel free to make a contribution. Every little bit helps, and we deeply appreciate your support. Thank you again, and thanks, Michael. Hope to see you soon.
All right. Bye-bye, Bill.
Take care. Bye-bye.